Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, April 22nd, and we're looking at the SPY ETFs market profile here on Window Trader, along with IWM and Triple Q. And on a day where the bulls looked like they were going to really wrestle control back, it all came to a screeching halt. I was actually talking in G and H, in G period, that we were talking earlier in the week with the Russell and the Qs taking out their weekly lows, and the way they were heading, last week's high was 226. Russell got within 70 cents of it, the IWM. I was like, is there a possibility of an outside week up? Same with the Triple Qs. They were a lot further away, like $3, but still the way they were moving. And then a little headline, which, by the way, everybody knows that this administration wants to do this. It's not going to happen to next year, but it certainly sent the algos into an absolute tizzy. I was actually out of the room when this happened in H, and I actually had 15 puts on. So it turned out to be, when I came back, a beautiful trade for me. We'll go over all my trading in a minute. But again, I don't like to use the news as a reason the market went down. I think the market makes the news, not the other way around. Was it a catalyst? Yeah, it was a catalyst. However, this market all day was getting nothing for the long. So I'm not surprised. That's why I was short. Not a lot, but that's why I was short up here, because I thought we were going to get longs to flush out. Now, did that headline cause more of a flush out and shorts to pile in? Yes. So what happened today? We opened inside our price probe. Price probe was basically accepted, right? We opened above where it was. We had a very large POC. They attempted to see what's below the price probe. Nothing was. We started going up and started grinding. We actually got the last daily high. The only thing left was the all-time high. So in A, I actually took a long against the price probe the first time it got down there, and it turned out to be a good trade. It actually got below the price probe. It took out the afternoon pullback, and that's when I had added to it and then went back up. I was like, if we're not going to get back to the opening, I have to see what happens. So I took the add-on off and the rest of them off when we got back right around the price probe high from yesterday. Those were the 414 calls. Then my only loss on the day, I took a short in B period. I did not take it right away when we took out A's low. I took it when we came back up. I'm like, okay, I thought we had a good chance. Remember I said those single prints were very small from yesterday. So once we started one-time framing down, we had unchanged value. We hadn't seen the opening. I thought it was a good chance to fill them. Well, lo and behold, that didn't happen. But we went up. I took a small put play, the 416s. And then what happened was I didn't like what was happening. I actually held on to the puts and grabbed a size of the 414 calls when it started really going, and then again in C period when it ripped, and it turned out to be basically a nice home run trade, because I only had small puts and I had a decent amount of calls of the 414 calls, and that trade was very good. I took it off and paid me handsomely. Then in C period, I said if we take out B's high, that's another long to get to the opening. I didn't do it, but once we got the opening, got up there, we were getting no tempo. That's when I started fading on shorts. I faded in C period, 418 puts, which worked out. And then the trade, I didn't do anything in D, E, or F. And then G, I did it again. I'm like, if they're going to get tempo, I'll get out. Wasn't a big play. I stepped out of the room for a minute. I came back, and boom, we were all the way, I don't know where we were. We weren't below the day's low yet. Remember, I'm in 7-tick increments. We were probably below C's low, between C's low and the day's low. Came in and took them off. Nice trade. I didn't know what had happened, what came out. I'm like, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I took them off. And then after that, I didn't do anything until I watched the rest of H. Now the algos are agitated. Let's see. I opened. We came, no single prints filled right away. That would have been a good risk-reward trade there, and I should have done that. I didn't, but what I did do in J period, we had singles again in I. I scalped shorts about at least 5 times of the 413 puts. The G trade was the 418 puts. The J trade was the 413 puts. Scalped them at least 5 times and did very, very well on them. And then when it looked like it was going to get close to the single prints, and we came down one more time in J, I actually bought a nice size call play again. 40 calls of the 412 calls, and took them off as soon as we got up, just about filling the single prints. So it was a very nice day again. When this market's moving, it is forgiven, even if you have a loss, as long as you have stops in. It's giving you many, many opportunities. And this is an incredible example of why you should be using stops. Because if you don't have a stop in, boy, oh boy, you're in a world of hurt. All right, destinations for tomorrow. Now, believe it or not, with all this movement, POC could not get lowered again. Now, it's only 6 wide. I don't put as much weight on it. Same with Qs. They're 7 wide. Could never get lowered. But it's still something I'm not going to ignore. Just like I'm not using these as a firm reference point, but this is pretty much where change took place. Below the day's low, I came up, filled the singles, but then we never saw it again. So this is, even though I'm using K as the afternoon rally high, I think B's low and I's high will be important if we get there tomorrow. I think, unless we get a gap lower, which everybody keeps looking for, I'm not expecting it. If we do not get a gap, I expect incredible chop inside of here tomorrow. Destinations. On the upside, 413.45, K's high, afternoon rally high. Then my next firm destination is today's high, 416.78, which, by the way, I don't have a poor high, ES does. And then 417.91, weekly high, all-time high. For the downside, we don't have anything till today's low, 411.13. Then 410.59, daily low, 410.20, weekly low. And you should have all the other destinations I've given you throughout the week on the downside. And then on the charts, nothing's changed in the bigger picture. We still have not taken out that weekly low. Is it in danger for tomorrow? It is, but we didn't take it out yet. So right now we're one time framing up 3 weeks. If we don't take it out, even if it's an inside week, it will be 4 weeks. If we do not take out last week's low, there's a good chance we'll have an inside week, which would make for a very nice setup going into next week. And then on the daily, I'm calling this a 3-day balance. Now, there's somebody in the room, they say, I'm looking at this as an 8-day balance. It's all subjective. Nobody's wrong. Everybody's right on that. You could use this as an 8-day balance. I'm choosing to use it as a 3-day balance. If we come out of this balance to the downside, well, for sure the weekly low would be gone. And then I would think the next destination is around that 405 and change level, although we would stop at the 20-day moving average probably, which is just below 407. Hope you had a great day trading. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.